Hey, it's Adriel, the hunting gear guy. I've got a Savage 17 HMR BTVS something. I think that's all that it is. This is a 17 HMR rifle. I've been playing around with a lot of 22s, shooting a lot of gophers, or I think the scientific name out here is Richardson's pocket squirrels. And I wanted something that would give me a little bit more range without the drop. Because I found that with the 22, most of my shooting errors, most of my problems were range related. I'd misrange a gopher. I'm going to keep calling them gophers just because that's what we know them as out here. I'd misrange a gopher at 80 yards when it was actually at 50. And if you're shooting at heads, that's enough to miss what you were shooting at. So I wanted a rifle that was a little bit flatter, and 17 HMR is definitely that. Now, don't get me wrong, like I was actually a little bit of a Luddite before. You know, 22 is so cheap and so available everywhere that it's kind of hard to make the jump to a 17. But out here in Canada, they're both available, and for the amount that I was shooting, I figured I could be shooting less, hitting more, and just hitting them a little bit farther out with 17 HMR. That all being said, okay, so let's jump straight into the review then of this rifle. And this is a little bit premature. I haven't even gotten this thing out to the range yet. I just got it, but I got all my video stuff set up, so I figured I'd do a quick little, and I mean little review of this rifle. So this is based on the, I believe it's based on the Mark II Action. Got like just a nice little bolt here. There's not a couple of different versions. There's a ton of different versions of this rifle. I went for this one because it's stainless, it's heavy barrel. There was a laminate stock without a thumb hole that was $50 cheaper. And I was going to get it until I saw this one that was $50 more. And it's a solid stock. Very solid on the fore end there. Dual sling studs on the front, which I like because when I'm out in a gopher field, I've usually got a bipod on the front. So yeah, so that's kind of why I chose this over any of the other Savage models. We're getting a little bit up there in price. This is right around $400, which I mean, if you're comparing it to other rimfire rifles out there, it's getting really close to the CZ455, which I was looking at getting, but I couldn't find any at the local stores around here, and I kind of had the itch to get something in 17 HMR right away. So this was available. I picked this one up. I don't think I'm going to have too much problems with accuracy. I've got a nice, decent free float all the way down this channel here. We've got, and this I much prefer, if you've listened to some of my other 22 reviews, I don't like the 3/8 dovetail. I don't really see much of a point in it. Weaver bases, heck yes. This is what every other rifle out there uses. Let's go with weaver bases. Let's use standard rings, standard scope. Heck yes, let's do that instead of messing around with some other ring system out there. In terms of the stock on this rifle, we've got this is a thumb hole stock, so you go in like that. It's a little bit small. I've got pretty big hands, so it's a little bit small for me, but I don't let that bother me too much. One of the funny things about using a safety, I'm just gonna turn off my autofocus here so it's not clicking all the time. One of the funny things about a safety like this, when you've got a thumb hole, is how are you supposed to access that thing? Like the whole advantage of having an open stock is, you know, if you've got your tang safety, it's very easy. But once you've got a thumb hole stock, all of a sudden that safety is kind of a funny thing to actuate, because you actually either have to pull out your thumb like that or use your index finger, which is a little bit goofy. But, you know, I'm not going to complain too much about that because, hey, I picked the thumb hole stock, and that's what I'm going to go with. We've got a nice cheek piece here that feels really great to put your face up to. Some of the the Savage, what are they, 93 R17s, the 17 HMR, have a really droopy kind of profile on the stock as they come to the back, and great for iron sights. kind of not all that great for optically sighted rifles because your face ends up being a little bit lower, and instead of getting a good firm cheek weld, you're starting to rotate your head a little bit to the side of your chin or something like that. I like to have my face like flat on the rifle and pushing in pretty hard just because I like my face not to move in relation to the rifle. So I like this straight stock a little bit better. Coming down to the mag, and if you've got one of these, this is no great insight or anything like that, but hey, for beginners it might be interesting. This mag, and this isn't the best system. Any mag system where I need to use two hands to grab it out, I'm gonna poo-poo just a little bit, because a good mag system should let you use just one hand so that you can be holding the rifle or grabbing ammo out of your pocket or something. With this one, you are pulling back this spring steel here and then releasing the mag. Compared with, here's a Savage 10 TR, and I can push this and pull the mag out. So that system is a little bit more positive, a little bit more one-handed. But one thing I like about this mag system is that it does have these kind of rails in here, so it is grabbing onto this tongue piece here. It might be a little bit easier to see there. So it's kind of going onto that slot, and that kind of guides it into the receiver, so it's nice and straight on the back. Not a bad idea. And a very positive magazine latch, because it's kind of grabbing onto the bottom part of that latch there, and this mag's not going anywhere. I'm just going to put that off to the side. To release the bolt on this thing, pretty simple. Pull it back. Make sure that there's nothing in there. I've already pre-cleared this thing. Pull the trigger, and the bolt comes right out. To reinsert it, make sure that you don't twist these two pieces, because the way that goes in is kind of particular. And this is different than it is on centerfire rifles, but on a rimfire rifle, you kind of want that half moon kind of faced up like that. And you kind of wiggle it as it goes in. And come on, baby. Pull the trigger, and it goes. So that's not like a lot of centerfire bolts out there, but if you're just new to rimfires, that's pretty much the MO when putting these things in. That's it for now. I'm going to do an add-on to this video with accuracy once I get a chance. Trigger, fantastic. I've already tried it out with some dummy rounds. Nice and light, and I think this is going to be really accurate. I'm going to put it up against one of Savage's B mags, which use the 17 Winchester short mag, which is a really spiced up 17. I'm just going to put that rifle to the side here and just kind of show you guys how this little mag loads. Am I zoomed in? Yes, I'm zoomed in all the way. All I could find at the shop was CCI VMAX 17 grainers. Nice little rounds. And if you just want to see what that looks like in comparison to, say, like a 22, there's some 22 rounds there. And just in comparison, the 17 is a little bit longer, quite a bit smaller of a tip. Oh, sorry, that's way out. There we go. And overall, they just look a little bit hotter, look a little bit higher quality. But enough talking about 17 HMR. Maybe I'll do a separate video on that. To load this mag up, we're just grabbing the rim of this thing and putting it in here and kind of pushing it to the back. And again, I know my more experienced viewers have already done this a million times, but you know, some of the guys who are watching this video, you know, they just bought this rifle and it's their first one, and they might be having problems loading this mag. So we're just grabbing the rim of that back of that cartridge, kind of pushing the other one down and sliding it in just like that. And this mag is really nice to load. On my Marlin 795, it chews up my fingers just a little bit, the Philips do, but this is nice. And that's 5 rounds, and I don't know if you can kind of see in there, but it's almost like double stacking just a tiny bit in there, which I'm assuming isn't a problem. How many rounds can I load in this thing? I thought it said 5. Looks like it can hold one more. I'm probably wrong. Yeah, I'm wrong. 5 rounds. Hey, that's enough. You know what? If every shot's hitting a gopher, then 5 rounds is enough. That's what I'm thinking, and I'm gonna stick with it. I'll update this video once I have some accuracy results. I've had a chance to shoot the rifle now, and I've tested it against 3 different types of ammo. Winchester 20 grain hollow point, CCI 17 grain VMAX, and Hornady, same thing. And I wanted to show you guys the results. Let me grab. This is one of my targets, and you can see there. I was just cranking away with CCI. I was trying to empty off the box, and you can see here this CCI. I'm getting about 1 inch here. There's 1 or 2 that kind of made their way outside that inch, but for the most part, those guys are all going into an inch. There's Winchester, getting a little bit of dispersion. Winchester again, a little bit of dispersion. Hornady, aside from that one, this might be about an inch. There's a better one right there. That's about an inch. Moving on to a different shooting session I had here. This stuff's all Winchester, and if you can see, that's about an inch. Actually, that's just a little bit less than an inch. That one there, again, about an inch. And this one down at the bottom here, I had a couple off to the sides. This one's just a little bit more than an inch. Not bad though. That Winchester stuff shot all right, but I'll show you a little bit later why I won't be using it in the rifle. Here's Hornady. There we go. There's an inch. You know, and without this guy over here, we'd be looking at about a 1/2 inch. So that's looking really good. About 1.5 inches with that guy. Same here, and then we had, whoa, one way up here. That wasn't me, I was doing this off sandbags, so I'm blaming that one on maybe like a cold bore or something like that. Then last, here's another group of CCI, one in the middle. That one's right around 1.75 inches. One in the top here, and this was like the first rounds out of this rifle. You know, without this one here, we're looking at about an inch. Yeah, that's about an inch. Yeah, about an inch. And then down here at the bottom here, I don't know what the heck went on with this one. Call that me or something, because that one doesn't look all that good. Now, the reason why I won't be going with this Winchester stuff, and some people had told me, you know, don't use Winchester in your Savage. We had fails to fire because the primer, you know, when it hit the primer, it still didn't fire. Well, mine didn't have that problem. The primers hit just fine, but I've had some cracked cases on this thing, and these were both a pain in the butt to extract. This one here, I needed to use a knife to pull it out because the extractor rim, you know, ripped off here, and my extractor wouldn't grab it. And it's because this thing was bulging against the, you know, it didn't bulge the chamber or anything like that. It just, the brass was tight to the inside of the chamber. That isn't even the only one that happened. This is a box of 50. Here's another one that it did it on. I haven't even fired off all these. I don't know how many of these I'm gonna find, but there's another one that failed along the side there. And, you know, with a real quick cursory look of this ammo, you don't see any fault lines on it until you fire this stuff, and then it's too late. And then you've got a round stuck in your chamber, and you got to use a jackknife to take it out. So I'm not going to be using this stuff, even though it did group fairly well in my rifle. I'd rather have ammo that I didn't need to extract the pocket knife. Anyways, quick accuracy update. I'm finding about an inch at 100 yards. with multiple different types of ammo with this stuff. So I'm a happy guy. That's Minute of Gopher, and the extra range that 17 HMR gives will be useful, and I will make use of this weekend coming up. Thanks for watching.